Hello everyone, I'm Mike DeAngelo with That's Entertainment, and this is your video review of God of War 3 by Sony Computer Entertainment of America. It should come to no surprise that Sony wanted to bank on, arguably, its most successful franchise. Kratos and the God of War series has become iconic over the last 5 years, and the third and final chapter of the trilogy is upon us. This is the first time that a game in the series has been developed from the ground up for the PlayStation 3, allowing for an even more complete and polished game. Does God of War 3 raise the bar for the medium, or have things changed too little for the game to be considered another one of Sony's success stories? As Kratos' story nears its end, players will be treated to, basically, a highlight reel of the more important events of the hero's past. After this, we transition into his latest adventure, as he, with the Titans, attempt to ascend Mount Olympus. There is hardly any gap in time between the ending of the second game and the beginning of the third, so you get dumped into the action fairly quickly. Zeus and the other Olympians know that the Titans are on their way, and promptly set out to deter and defeat them. Poseidon, Helios, Hermes, and Hades all dive off of the mountain to do their worst against Kratos' newfound allies. But all is not well with the Ghost of Sparta's current arrangements. During the skirmish, Kratos finally meets with Zeus. The father-son showdown ends badly for Kratos, who ends up flying off of Mount Olympus and just barely reaching out to Gaia. However, he learns that he is just an instrument in the Titans' own revenge. As in prior titles in the God of War trilogy, Kratos plummets to Hades, where his quest begins anew and is brought into a new focus. An old ally returns and explains to Kratos that to defeat Zeus, he must reach the torch of Olympus.
My blade was meant for Zeus.
There isn't too much that's been changed from previous iterations in the franchise as far as the gameplay is concerned. Combinations of different stringed attacks end up leaving your enemies in ruin throughout the game. There are some new weapons to play around with this time though, which helps to break up some of the attacks from the second game. One of the well played out choices made by the developer was the decision to make the QuickTime event buttons show up on the corresponding side of the screen that would be on the controller. Squares on the left, circle on the right, and so forth. This makes those action sequences much more intuitive. However, if you boast a huge television, you might have a small disadvantage, as your eyes have farther to navigate away from the action and response. Puzzles too seem to be a little more fluid this time around. A lot of the clever elements of the game revolve around your items, but even the basic controls of the game have been touched up to allow more realism to seep into the game. If you're unlucky, you may find that certain portions of the game may be unresponsive. The double jump in particular can be especially annoying, but there have also been complaints about trouble opening treasure chests or accessing save points. Hopefully the developer will patch these few oddities going forward. In no uncertain terms, God of War 3 is by far the most beautiful game in the series. That should come as no surprise, but it isn't just because of the capabilities of the new hardware. The style is what truly pushes the game towards the awesome-looking finished product. The scope is gigantic, and could very well set the bar for the genre going forward. Though Kratos is a mere mortal at this point, he fights among huge gods and monsters, and this latest title does a tremendous job at showing that. The environment too looks fantastic for the most part, especially when looking at parts of the game that include water effects. The sound is by far some of the best in gaming today. Though the music seems, for the most part, unchanged from previous titles in the series, the newest game delivers it with bold confidence, which is completely warranted. Sound effects are powerfully included as well. Both the music and sound effects are completely toppled by the quality of the voice acting. But what else could you expect from the God of War? Never straying too far from the tried and true formula, God of War 3 delivers plenty of bonus content to play with even after the game is completed. Throughout the game, there are plenty of collectibles. The rewards for collecting treasures or for simply beating the game are extensive, from unlocking extra costumes and modes to gaining access to trophies and videos. Due to a new item in the game, you could be scouring Olympus for a very long time while trying to finish the game to its fullest capacity. Kratos shows once again that you can't keep a scorned God of War down. He continues to be deceived by his opposition, but is unrelenting in his version of justice. The Ghost of Sparta keeps up the trend of outdoing himself, time after time. While the game reaches high to conclude the story, it mostly succeeds. With the exception of some questionable controls and glitches that are, luckily, not affecting everyone, and a small segment of the game that seems a little burned out, Sony Computer Entertainment of America once again provides a fantastic romp through an adapted Greek mythology that will be sure to entertain you. That's Entertainment awards God of War 3 a score of 9.5 out of 10.
My vengeance ends now.